Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion. But they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not a weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was fun. Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what it means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning on the right. Is there anybody in this that you, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in the church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 of the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see where that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic, she warned. These are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable or unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing it. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And you know, especially the religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to the New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 recorded hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has its political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Show. If I put something on the screen, or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Can I get a happy Friday? Hell yeah. Come on now, right there in the chat. Can I get a hell yeah? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known, as PDawgKnight on the internet. What the hell's going on? I need some coffee. It's Big Daddy Friday. And yeah, let's get into it. There's a lot going on. I'm not as late as normal. That's good. I might have to change this time to 10:30 Eastern anyway and turn it into an hour show because I may be switching positions at my morning job. So we'll see what happens. I'll announce that later if it happens. But hi, happy Friday. It's the 22nd of August, 2025. Closer and closer to the, what do you call it when the country's 250 years? The Siri, what's the word for, wait a minute, I don't want this kid crying. Hang on, stop, shut up. Siri, what is the name for the 250th anniversary of a country? The semi-quincentennial, something like that. It's coming up. It's coming soon. Anyway, to a country near you. So let's just go into it because there's some big news going on, and so I need to get myself mentally prepared for that, and also a lot of people doing some stuff that I like to see. So let's just get into it. First, thanks for being here. There's only 7 people here. What the hell? It's Friday. Is everyone over at Monkey Stream? Somebody go tell people to copy a link to this stream and tell people to come over there when they're done. Come over here when they're done over there. Because I know Monkey's going to be done anytime now. And I know he's going to come over. But maybe tell him to bring his friends. God damn. This is tough, man. Anyway, let's get into it. First of all. Oh, dude. I didn't even pin that. I should pin that. Thanks to the people sharing the stream, by the way. But let's say hi to the people who are here first. Now, I kind of purposely held up on my good morning in the chat because I was trying to give AD a window to make fun of me. And for some reason, which I cannot explain, well, look, JB gets the honors. Who's first in the chat today? It's JB. JB gets the bell. Yeah. Congratulations. Just edging out AD by, I don't know, a ample amount of time. Also, good morning, Avocados Diablo, of course. Welcome to the show. Good morning, also, Somnambule Nation, Septis Wolf, easy for me to say. And the Pope is here, Pope Tyre, with a daily inspirational message. Pope Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich, says, blessing of the Holy Ghost be upon his children. Today you have woken up in his creation, bask in the warmth of the sun and in the presence of your fellow human beings. Yes, celebrating the triumvirate, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, emphasizing the Holy Ghost. Also, good morning. Did I say Somnambule Nation? I think I did. Hi, Somnambule Nation. Renee Mayette is here. Willie is in the chat. It was literally the first time I even checked for your stream. I just assume you won't start till 10:20 nowadays. Well, and I know I'm pretty lack there. By the way, anyone here, are you getting notifications? I'm assuming, because I know some of you refresh and whatnot. But also, I also send out the locals notification, which always comes on time. So if you want to make sure that you get that notification quickly, you get it there, or you can make sure you follow me on X. You'll probably find me there. Also, good morning, Cashapp. What's up? Now, what's cool about today, at least even though there's not a lot of people here yet, the majority of you have also shared the stream. What the hell is that? God damn. Anyway, many of you shared the stream. And let's just get to that first. First, thank you, Somnambule Nation, of course. Always first to put the stream on X, app formerly known as Twitter. And there you go. I just reposted that. And then we got Uncle Jam wants you. Yes. Yes, a little George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic fame, of course. And he had his little, he had his own little stuff going on there for a while when as Parliament went away. And also he was doing a lot of collabs with Prince. And he was in Minneapolis for a while doing stuff with the guys in Minneapolis. Also, thank you, Tyre Alexander, the Daily Woo from Ric Flair. There we go. And reposting that. And now this one threw me off a little bit. Renee Mayette throwing up the yeah, I'll just let that linger there for those of you who appreciate this kind of stuff. But anyway, Free for All Friday, and that's Renee Mayette who's lived Salty Tears, and we'll repost that too, just for the hell of it. A little eye candy for the boys out there, and then there's the eye candy for the girls. Ric Flair. Okay. Also, thanks, and K-Shaw, thank you also for retweeting the show. Tyre Alexander and Somnambule Nation, of course. We got some news. Gunfox is throwing some news items up there. We may have to try to get to a couple of those if we can. Although I got a lot of stuff today. Holy smokes, you're busy in Asia and Africa and Asia and Asia. So there you go. So we'll pay attention to some of that stuff too. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony. What's up? Nice to have you here. It is Friday Q&A day. Feel free to ask questions. They can be serious. They can be not serious. They can be absurd, or they can be, what's another word? Grating. So anyway, the Friday Q&A link is at the top of the chat. It'll take you to the other thing, and you can drop your Q&A questions in there. Avocado Stabby's already dropping some gems in the Q&A section. All right, special day. Today is Red Friday, of course, when we remember all those remember everyone deployed. Red Friday is more than a day. It's a heartfelt reminder to stand tall and proud for our service members who sacrifice so much. Wearing red, we honor their bravery, resilience, and the families who hold strong at home. It's a small act that carries big love in a way to say, we see you, we thank you, and we've got your back. We wear red today with gratitude. And keep their courage close to our hearts, which I got my little red in the flag here and my Minnesota flag. So there you go. Happy Red Friday. Also, in the holiday tip, as they used to say, as the kids used to say, but that's like so 90s. Why is my mouse not working? There we go. This very 90s. Other holidays, it's oh my God. I thought it said take care of your cat day, to which I chose a double entendre in my mind, but apparently no, it's take your cat to the vet day, which is even more concerning. But anyway, take your cat to the vet day if you haven't. In fact, by the way, people, if you have pets, make sure they get at least a yearly or bi-yearly checkup, because you want your pets to be healthy and want them to last longer, and the vets can give you some ideas on what to do with that. Good morning to a couple more people showed up. Ms. Wild Wolf, Attack Alpaca, TC's in the house, and my other favorite Canadian. My favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony, and my other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views. So there you go. So, Be an Angel Day. Show your love and kindness, and Be an Angel Day, spread joy, lend a helping hand, or surprise someone with an unexpected gift. That's something you should do every day. Do one act of kindness per day, at least, minimum. And, you will feel better just because, not because anyone knows it, just because you did. And so we try to do that on a regular basis. National Tooth Fairy Day. Shit that ain't real. National Rainbow Baby Day. What the fuck does that mean? Celebrate the beauty of life on this National Rainbow Baby Day. Honor your rainbow baby and all those who've gone before them. What's a rainbow baby? I don't even know what that is. Let's look that up. What is a rainbow? It's better not be some gay shit. Nothing wrong with being gay, but babies aren't gay. Babies are just babies. What is a rainbow baby? A rainbow baby is a child born after a pregnancy loss. Oh my God. Oh my God. My heart dropped there. Oh. Learn about what to expect when you're pregnant again and how to manage the emotions that might come with it. Oh, that brings a tear to my eye. National Rainbow Baby Day. Holy shit. Thank you. And I'll say Ms. Wildwood dropped that in there. Yeah, we fit that category, although, well, it's a long story. Wow, what a nice thought. National Rainbow Baby Day. Got it. Also, it's National Pecan Torte Day. Now, what's the difference between a pecan torte and a pecan pie? That looks like pecan pie, which I love me some pecan pie, by the way. But anyway, National Bao Day, those weird, is it Koreans who make these? They're in a little doughy ball and you've got some stuff inside of it. That's that food thing. National Pamela Day. If your name is Pamela, I don't care. National Surgical Oncologist Day. Oh, never heard of that one either. If you have dealt with an oncologist who's done surgery, thank them today. World Plant Milk Day. No, do not drink plant milk. That shit. Plant milk is so bad for you. They put it's like sugar and water, and it's not milk. Don't even pretend it's milk. And then also it's Folklore Day. So get ready to celebrate Folklore Day by embracing the rich and colorful tales of the past, from mythical creatures to ancient traditions. There's something for everyone. So there you go. That's the holidays for today. Real quick. Oh, good morning. Mike has bad knees. What's up? Johnny Boomer Tech's doing the job. And that's everybody so far. We're getting there. So far we got 20 people, 9 likes. That's not a good ratio. Can we get at least to 75% on the likes, please? That always helps. All right. And then also, thank you, Gunfox61. Good morning, sir, by the way. And because of that, Hamilton, you just dropped in the tip jar. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And we got a little a dose of Jack Cochran's girlfriend. Gunfox says, we got him. Oh, wait. Judge did what? Uh-oh. Well, seeing as you have hijacked the show, let's see what we got here. This is Gunfox hijacking the show, dropping a ham. Oh, yes, I was going to talk about this, so this is good. Okay, I'm going to move this over here because it kind of fits in the topics. Thank you, Gunfox. I didn't have an article on this, but oh, what the hell happened there? What the hell? Oh, good God. Hang on. What the hell happened to all my fucking windows? Oh, I'm going to be pissed. Okay, there we go. Wait, what the bloody hell is going on? Oh, there we go. All right, we'll fix this. Okay, put these back where they belong. We'll put them back where they belong. Where the eagles cry on a mountain high. God, what this? Okay, so I had a little. Yeah, my computer had a little brain fart here that. I'll just put these back in order. There we go. All right. Thank you, Gunfox, for hijacking the show. Sorry that I had to do that. Good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. Wait, that's the wrong spot. All right. So one of the trending topics this morning on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, is the word overturned. And so, and let's just get the BBC article. Not that kind of BBC. Stop it. On what happened. An appeals court has thrown out Donald Trump's $500 million civil fraud penalty in New York. Remember that they said he was overvaluing his properties because, to get gain for financial gain, right? And none of the banks, all the banks in that case said, you know what, we did our own due diligence and we lend it based on what the value of his empire is, whatever. But the courts, they Letitia James went in there and they conned the courts into doing this $500 million penalty. Well, that has been overturned on appeal, just as I said it would. Good morning, Anon. 1, 2, 3. Appeals court throws out Trump's $500 million civil fraud penalty. Judge Arthur Engoron, as I like to call him, had ordered Trump to pay the fee for massively inflating the value of the Trump Organization properties in order to secure favorable loans. In a lengthy ruling released on Thursday, judges of the New York Supreme Court's Appellate Division stated that while Trump was liable for the fraud, which there was no fraud, that's just it. This is the bullshit that they put in there. Oh, but they said he still had fraud. There's no fraud. It's a bullshit charge. The fine of nearly $500 million was excessive and probably violated constitutional protections against severe punishment. In the case, Judge Moron, and that's this guy right here, this smiling piece of shit right here, that dude who was smugging for the cameras and shit, that dude, okay? But I don't turn the sound on that fucking thing off. Shut the fuck up, you bitch. Okay, Judge Moron ordered Trump to pay $355 million, but with interest, that grew to more than $500 million. Quote, while harm certainly occurred, no harm occurred unless you could tell me who was harmed. And that's the whole king here. Normally, in civil fraud cases, there has to be somebody who's harmed. The banks testified on behalf of Trump that they were not harmed and that they did their own due diligence. They made money and they were happy, and no one brought this case but Letitia James. I'm sorry, I digress. Hello, Big Dave. How you doing? While harm certainly occurred, it was not the cataclysmic harm that can justify nearly $500 million award to the state, wrote Judge Peter Moulton. In a post on his social media site, Truth Social, Trump claimed the decision was a total victory. I greatly respect the fact that the court had the courage to throw out this unlawful, disgraceful decision that was hurting business all throughout New York State, he wrote. It was a political witch hunt in a business sense, like the likes of which no one has ever seen before. Yeah, no one's ever seen it before because no one's ever been prosecuted for this. Not in the way they did it. New York Attorney General's office, which brought the case against Trump, also framed the decision as a win, as it upheld Trump's fraud liability, and the judges did not throw out other penalties that were not financial. The office plans to appeal against the decision on the fine to the state highest court, the Court of Appeals. I swear to God, if they don't throw out the entire case, then they're just fucked. It's anything to put a ding into Trump's name. This one was bullshit. Just like the business records case where they say 34 felonies. I saw someone quote that. The Democrats love to say, oh, he's a convicted felon. He's a 34-time felon. None of these motherfuckers can name what it was that was the felony. They don't even know what the charges were. They just see here 34 felonies that they had to, literally, you had to fucking do, what's that show that Nicolas Cage plays in when he had to find the puzzles and something treasure? Whatever that's called, National Treasure. That's how intricate they had to be to make those charges into felonies. It's a disgrace. Anyway, and that's going to get overturned too, by the way. I guarantee it. It should not be lost to history. Yet another court has ruled that the president violated the law and that our case has merit, it also said. In the case against Trump, his two adult sons in the Trump Organization, Judge Engoron, also banned Trump from serving as a company director or taking out loans from banks in the state for 3 years. That should be thrown out. The banks said they were fine with it. No, nobody was injured in this case because there was no case. And the highest appeals court in New York should throw the entire thing out. This is some partisan bullshit. Thursday's decision kept in place this and other non-monetary penalties that Judge Engoron imposed. The 323-page ruling. They wrote a fucking Harry Potter book on this shit. 323-page ruling, which including 3 lengthy opinions, revealed disagreement among the 5 judges on the panel. They were primarily divided over the merits of the original lawsuit brought by Letitia James, who had accused Trump and his sons of persistent and repeated fraud. While several judges said she was within her lawful power to bring this action, one believed the case should have been dismissed, and 2 said that there should be a new trial of a more limited scope. Those 2, though, joined the decision to throw out the fine for the sole purpose of ensuring finality, wrote Judge Moulton. American voters had obviously rendered a verdict on Trump's political career, Judge Moulton also wrote, and this bench today unanimously derails the effort to destroy his business. Sort of. Anyway, the ruling came almost a year after the panel heard oral arguments on the appeal, during which several judges appeared skeptical of the civil fraud case. Trump's son, Eric Trump, who was involved in the case, celebrated the decision in a post on social media. After 5 years of hell, justice prevailed, he wrote. The ruling amounted to a judicial version of kicking the can down the road, said Will Thomas, an assistant professor of business law at the University of Michigan. By its own admission, the appellate court is punting the real legal decision up to the New York Court of Appeals, noting that its unusual decision was made for the sole purpose of ensuring finality. That's some bullshit. They should have just thrown the whole fucking thing out. It's hard to take any conclusions from this, except that we'll have to continue to wait that much longer to find out the ultimate outcome in James versus Trump. If they, I'm telling you right now, Letitia James appealing this further to a higher court is going to bite her in her big fat ass. I'm sorry. She's dumb. She should take this. If she thinks this is a win, she should stop right there, because it will get not only thrown out by the New York State Court. If it doesn't, it might end up going to the Supreme Court of the United States. But because there's certainly constitutional issues from the Supreme Court too. Anyway, in September 2023, Judge Engoron ruled that Trump was liable for business fraud, finding that he had misrepresented his wealth by hundreds of $millions. And again, this was not even a jury who did this. This was, they finagled it so that only this anti-Trump judge could make the decision. In one instance, the judge found Mr. Trump's financial statements had wrongly claimed that his Trump Tower penthouse was almost 3 times its actual size. Trump had said that the case brought by James, a Democrat, was politically motivated. No shit. Thursday's unusually lengthy ruling also reflects the historic predicament of how to handle a massive fraud case involving a sitting president, said Mark Zauderer, a longtime appellate attorney in New York. Would you have a 300-page opinion if this were Joe Smith, the businessman, and not Donald Trump? Hell no. It would not be 300 pages. One judge would write a decision and they would all either concur or maybe there'd be one dissent. But the whole thing was a joke from day one, and everybody knows it, including Letitia James. All right, moving on. Thank you, Gun Fox, for dropping that ditty into the pile. Sorry, I probably shouldn't use the term ditty. Hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. Good morning. Nice to have you here. Every developer should run just like in California. Yeah, it's a joke. And no, the developers in New York, no one's going to do shit. You know why? Because everybody knows that this was specifically designed for one person and one person only. Everybody knows that. So there we go. All right, let's move on. Finally. Oh, wait. This is funny. There are some other people reporting on this. Now, overturned is trending because kiss our MAGA asses haters. The New York Appeals Court overturned cycle Letitia James bogus $500 million judgment against Trump. That B, as in bitch, isn't getting away with it. Wait till she gets prosecuted for mortgage fraud. Paybacks are long overdue. So there you go. Here's Fox News talking about it.
Appellate. Fox News Alert, a New York appeals court just this morning has thrown out President Donald Trump's massive civil fraud penalty. The decision from a 5-panel group in New York's appellate division changed the original decision that stood to cost Trump over $500 million.
The problem is they didn't throw it all out.
One appeals judge calling the lower court's penalty an excessive fine that violates the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution. You might remember that New York Attorney General Letitia James' office says despite this decision, they will not be dropping the case. Fox News.
So she's stupid. She is stupid. She should just take this as her little win and shut the fuck up. But no, they're going to keep going, and it's going to get completely thrown out. It's going to get completely thrown out. Now, on CNN, this is someone named Caroline Downey who was talking about it. I don't have the whole clip, but here's one of the CNN analysts. Oh, wait, wrong. There we go. One of the CNN analysts, as opposed to analysts, talking about this.
They just said no fine at all.
Right, no fine at all. You know why? Because they know it was bullshit. If they thought there was merit to it, they would have just reduced the fine, right? They would have reduced the fine. But you know that they know, even leaving part of this case up, that they're full of shit because they completely erased the fine. They left some of the other little ditties on there. Well, wait, if there's no fine because there's no victim, why is there even a case? But again, it's New York. And New York hates Donald Trump. Let me continue.
Interesting. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't have a lot for you here.
You know why you don't have a lot? Because you have no idea what the fuck anyone's talking about here, because you don't know the nuance of the case at all. So you just shut the fuck up.
But what I will say is I think it's very interesting.
What I will say, if he gets very interesting, that what? Oh, wait till you hear this.
That the president used the 8th Amendment here, that his lawyers used the 8th Amendment.
That he certainly had the right to use under the U.S. Constitution. What about him using the 8th Amendment?
Get this, decision in the way that they wanted it to, when we've seen in other cases, maybe things like the 14th Amendment, that, guarantee us all due process, really not be considered by the president in the way
What do you mean the 14th Amendment? What the fuck do you mean the 14th Amendment? The 14th Amendment due process is related to citizens who were not allowed due process prior to. It's the 5th Amendment due process you're talking about, jackhole. And also, do you even know what due process is? Like, I'm sure you're talking about, some of these immigrants are being deported without due process. No, the due process in deportation is due process for people who cross the border illegally. Deportation is not even a criminal penalty. It's a civil remedy for being in the country illegally. It's not even considered a penalty under U.S. law. Now, if you want those people to all go through due process for crossing the border illegally, well, sure, then let's bring them all to court and do the real due process of coming across the border illegal, which is a criminal offense, which would be a trial. And if you lose the trial, you can get up to 6 months in jail and a fine. And if you do it again, it's a felony with up to 2 years in jail. So that's the due process for the crime would be going to court. But due process for being in the country legally is deportation, which deportation back to where you're from is not considered a criminal penalty. It's a civil remedy. So shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Goes about completing some of his agenda.
The court used cruel and unusual punishment because it's not always used in physical cases.
Excessive fine.
Well, but cruel and unusual punishment can be used to mean like excessive, obscene, like financial penalties, which in this case, 500 million was, and the court agreed.
Because guess what? Where was that $500 million fine or penalty going? Was it going to make the victims of the crime whole? No, they were just going to confiscate it and give it to the state of New York. So that's stupid as fuck. Anyway.
The court doesn't think that he's not liable for fraud or that there should
He shouldn't, but the court should be throwing out the whole case because there was no fraud.
any fine at all because there are still restrictions on Trump's businesses.
Which
He's still going
be.
to suffer even without this fine. What the court said is that this penalty was disproportionate, wildly disproportionate to the wrong done because there were no victims. There were no victims of this wrong.
And look at him. He's trying to think, oh, was there a victim? Was there? What do you mean there was no victims? There were no victims because the banks didn't complain. They didn't bring the case. They didn't ask for the referral. They didn't do anything because Donald Trump made that money under the terms that they did behind their own due diligence. This case pisses me off just because I was in this business for a long time and I know how it works. And I know how it's the lender's responsibility to do due diligence before their loan. And the only way you defraud them is if somehow you make some fraudulent appraiser do something or whatever, you pay off an appraiser or whatever. That's when you have fraud. Not when someone says, oh, this is the value of my property. I did a loan once for a guy who thought his property was worth $3 million. Our appraiser went out, it was worth $1.25 million. Was he committing fraud? No, because people don't know what everyone thinks their property is more than it's worth until it comes to tax time. So it's like, this is just, that's why lenders do their own due diligence. This case was bullshit from the start.
Trump's business partners, they did their due diligence and they still went into business with Trump because they made money. And Letitia James was so hell-bent on bankrupting Trump that she actually did mental gymnastics. She brought in a banking expert to do testimony to claim that somehow the banks that Trump did business with might have lost out on some accrued interest, which is another load of baloney because the banks did due diligence and they still went into business with Trump as well. There were no victims. That's why $500 million was absurd and insane
but you have no problem.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
So, Eighth Amendment.
I'd love to know what he said after that. I'd love to know what he said after that. He said some bullshit after that that made no fucking sense. I guarantee it. Thank you, Ty Alexander, for dropping a tip in the tip jar. A small bullet, or not even more than a small bullet, 30 cents, who says, Tyre says, my Chinese cousin wrote a little book called The Art of War. In that book, he said, never interrupt your foe when they're making a mistake. I have no opinion about Letitia shooting herself in the foot with a starter pistol before the big foot race. FTG, cunt. Yeah. Thank you, Tyre, for your infinite words of wisdom. Appreciate it. All right. Now that you got me worked up there, Gunfox, let's get to the some other news. And one of them, this was fantastic. So, if you're not familiar with the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia named Winsome Sears, a lovely woman of color who's the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, she was having a rally somewhere where apparently apparently they were talking about the bathroom issue with trans people, whatever, because in London County, Virginia, 3 boys didn't feel comfortable dressing in front of a girl in their locker room who claimed that she too was a boy. And so Arlington, Virginia, thank you, Monkey. What's up, Ranting Monkey? Welcome to the show. And so they were having a rally because these 3 boys were being punished for not wanting to get dressed and undressed and naked in front of a girl who thinks she's a boy. Okay? A girl who thinks she's a boy. Oh my gosh, she's a trans boy. But whatever. They were kind of being noble and said, hey, we don't want to dress in front of this girl. Sorry, we don't want her looking at our dicks and we don't want to look at her vagina while we're all dressing. Okay? And they got punished by the schools. And so Winsome Sears, the Lieutenant Governor, a proud black woman, conservative, was having a rally. And at that rally, liberals, especially liberal white women, cannot help themselves, especially Democrats, where they always seem to go back to their roots whenever someone who is black ends up being on the right or being being a conservative or being a Republican. They cannot help but going back to their roots in the Democratic Party and saying some insanely racist shit. Now, for example, you know, like when they talk about these poor migrant immigrants, and they're being deported, and they say, who's gonna pick our strawberries, and who's gonna clean our toilets, and who's gonna, you know, work in the fields for meager wages? Because, you know, the Democrats are famous for their history of not wanting to pay people for their work. But anyway, but they also there was a woman at this rally who decided that she was going to put up a sign. And you may not have seen this, but I'm going to show it to you now. At Arlington, Virginia, a woman holding this protest sign didn't want to be identified, but says, no, I didn't read this part. She fell back on, it was satire. She said, hey, Winsome, if a trans can't share your bathroom, then blacks can't share my water fountain. Oh, isn't it funny how they always could say some racist shit to the, you know, to the black conservatives, right? You know, like they tell, you know, Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom and all that shit. But it's always the liberal white women. And she says, oh, it was satire meant to provoke conversation around the absurdity of prejudice. If anyone thinks we are actually supporting separate drinking fountains based on race, they are mistaken. Oh, but you put the sign out there, and if you don't believe she actually put it out there, here she is, obviously, old white woman. Then blacks can't share my water fountain. Now, here's the thing. I'm not necessarily triggered by what this woman put up there. I don't care. It's like, oh yes, awfuls always come home to roost. Absolutely. I can't remember what awful stands for. It's like something white feminist something. What does awful stand for? I used to know that by the top of my head. Anyway, so I just have to laugh. They can't help but going back to their roots. It's amazing. And now it's funny because someone posted this too. Hello. Affluent white female liberals. Yes. Affluent white female liberals. Yes, exactly. So anyway, this is the moment though that someone told her, did one of these. Nah, this ain't it. You probably shouldn't have this. Here it is. Let's get a lot of play on TV right now. Yes. He had to tell her that wasn't the right sign to play. And in fact, I think Black Lives Matter, or some Black Lives Matter group from Virginia, posted something up here. By the way, if you don't know the reference, segregated water fountains. 1950, Jim Crow laws were written and enforced by the Democratic Party from 1876 to 1975, or 65. Well, actually the Jim Crow laws started in the 1900s, but whatever. But there was, let me see if I can find, even Black Lives Matter is like, no, don't do that. That's not it, honey. Oh Lord, I can't find it. But anyway, yeah, Black Lives Matter of somewhere in Virginia. There we go. Deport liberal white women. Yeah, that's what we need to do. And someone says, yeah, but I bet she has a sign like this in front of her lawn, one of those love is love signs. I always laugh because, especially when the science is real one, science is real until it doesn't agree with your, with your orthodoxy. Selected Boy, what up? Good morning.
Yeah, boy.
But where is it? Creating racial tension. This Northern Virginia insanity is the reason Glenn Youngkin won the same school district that covered up student rape. Yes, that. And this is the photo taken at the 1924 Democrat National Convention, which was known as the Clam Bake. Where's the Black Lives Matter post? Yeah. What? And lots of black people out there going, what'd you put on that sign? What the hell did you put on that sign? Yeah, I can't find the Black Lives Matter post. People have been posting it, but apparently not under this thread. Anyway, congratulations, liberal white woman. You have made yourself look like a fool. All right, let's move on. I just thought that was some funny shit. Oh, wait. Is this it too? Yeah, this is the same one. All right. Moving on. Before I get into I want to talk about, what is else? Gavin Newsom. We already talked about Trump and the overturn. Oh, the FBI. John Bolton. I got to make sure I do this. Make sure I get Q&A in. By the way, it's Friday Q&A. Throw your questions into the Q&A section. Serious, not serious, funny, stupid. We get them all. So just knock yourself out. Throw a question in the Friday Q&A. Okay, third way was trending. And I was like, what? Third way? What does that mean? Well, apparently, third way is circulating a memo. Third way is, what is third way? It's a fact-driven, future-focused national think tank champion modern center-left ideas. That's what third way is. And they have a X handle here called Third Way. Well, they're circulating a list of things featuring a new blacklist of words that Democrats shouldn't use. So, among the blacklisted terms, they can no longer use privilege because people are just fucking tired of hearing that shit. Violence, calling everything. They're learning from the people who tell them they're idiots. Like calling everything violence, environmental violence, or by saying words like, well, you're just committing violence because you said bad words to me. Fuck you. Well, someone's telling them they can no longer say that. Also, dialoguing, triggering, othering, all these stupid words, microaggressions, holding space, body shaming, subverting. They're the whole list of words that we make fun of them for. They're saying you shouldn't say it anymore. Holding space, body shaming, subverting norms, systems of oppression, cultural appropriation, Overton window, existing threat to the climate, democracy, etc. Radical transparency, stakeholders, the unhoused. The unhoused? Are you going to start calling them homeless again? Are we going to start calling them homeless again? Food insecurity, housing insecurity, person who immigrated, birthing person. Oh! You mean they're going to have to use real words again? Cisgender, den naming, heteronormative, patriarchy, LGBTQIA+, BIPOC, allyship. Is this real? Is this real? Wait a minute. Let me go down here. By the way, here are the ways the third way have been used. Third way is pretty useless at politics. Oh, but if you're using these phrases to speak to someone who doesn't already agree with you, you're not going to change their mind by speaking like this. Just say what you mean without learning buzzwords. So they're telling people to stop using buzzwords. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Democrats continue to use this language that no one around the kitchen table uses. Here's someone on MS. What do we call it now? MS Now? MS. We got to think of a good alternative acronym for MS Now, because we took MSNBC and started calling it MSDNC. We'll think of something. In fact, in the chat, if you can think of what MS Now should stand for, because the Multiple Sclerosis Society was not happy that they're changing the name to MS Now. But anyway, here's someone talking about those words. I guess I'm guessing that's Claire McCaskill, former senator from Missouri. And my mouse isn't working again. Hang on, I can't even play it. Come on, creep over there. There we go.
How can we convince candidates to talk real about everything is just too damn expensive, and that's the end of the story and the beginning of the story?
Oh, Claire, from your lips to God's ears, you're exactly right. I mean, using words like you did, which is prices are too damn expensive, and being very clear, Democrats continue to use this language that no one around the kitchen table uses. There's a great piece
tell me
today
about
by
it.
the
Hello, Johnny Hellcat. Wait, hold up. Good morning, Johnny Hellcat, the original first viewer of the Morning Night Live. More than 7 years ago, Johnny Hellcat was the first person to click on the live stream by yours truly. Always appreciated. Always got to recognize that. Also, good morning, Rick Ashbringer. What's up, brother? Nice to have you here. All right.
Talking about the words Democrats shouldn't use, and we continually use them and they look weak. When I ran President Obama's campaign, you'll remember this. We lost the first debate in 2012, worse than anyone had ever lost a debate. And I said to him, look, if you aren't willing to fight for them, they're not going to fight for you. And you didn't look like you were going to fight for America in that first debate. He came out of the next debate and wailed away at Mitt Romney and looked strong and said, I'm going to be very clear what I'm going to do to make your lives better. Democrats have got to do exactly what Claire just talked about. Look at the camera and say, I'm going to get...
Now, it's funny about this to me, and I mean really funny about this to me, is somehow this guy speaking thinks this is the Democrats' magic bullet. Well, we'll just stop using these stupid words. You just keep thinking that, brother.
Rid of these tariffs. I'm going to focus on day-to-day costs, and I'm going to make your lives just a little bit easier.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I can't stand Claire McCaskill. Over to window and stakeholders. What? In a new memo, the center-left think tank Third Way is circulating a list of 45 words and phrases they want Democrats to avoid using, alleging the terms put a wall between us and everyday people. No, they just make you sound like idiots. Just use the right term. Homeless is okay. No, there's nothing wrong with saying someone is homeless or someone is a vagrant or someone's a bum or someone's a what's the old one? Oh, hobo. Yeah. Well, I guess you can't call them hobos because hobos travel. But whatever. There's some better name for homeless people. Third Way, a center-left think tank. As list words. Here's their philosophy here. In this memo, we're putting together the spotlight on the language we use that puts a wall between us and everyday people of all races, religions, and ethnicities. These are words that people simply do not say, yet they hear from Democrats. Over the years, we've conducted, read, and analyzed hours upon hours of focus groups. Oh, there. Yes, the great old Democratic focus groups, because that's how they try to govern. Focus groups, and we've yet to hear a voter volunteer any of the phrases below except as a form of derision or parody of Democrats. Yep. We're not talking about techno speak like net zero or climate resiliency. Would you classify the term climate resiliency as one of those words you really just don't want to hear? Hello, Hig. What's up? What's up, Hig? From the home base in Florida. Those words put up their own Ivy League walls between policymakers and voters. Here we are focusing on the eggshell dance of political correctness and voters. Here we are focusing on, which leaves people we aim to reach cold or fearful of admonishment. Finally, we are not out to police language, ban phrases, or create our own forms of censorship. Self-censorship. Truth be told, we have published papers that have used some of these words as well. But when policymakers are public-facing, so don't use these words in public. Hello, Darren Root. The language we use must invite, not repel, start a conversation, not end it, provide clarity, not confusion. So, I mean, they got a point, and these are the words that we make fun of them for using all the time. So, there we go. So they want the Democrats to stop using these stupid phrases and words and calling everything violence. It's climate violence, environmental violence, gender violence could be in two things. Could be physical violence or emotional violence. There's no such thing as emotional violence. Violence is physical activity that means something hits something else. That's what violence is. And it doesn't necessarily mean people either. It could be things. You can have violence against a business by destroying their business, and that's violence. But you don't have emotional violence. All right, let me just real quick. I have some more notifications here, meaning that there's a good chance that some more people have shared the show. Oh no, just Gunpox with a shit ton of news too. But also, thank you TC for sharing the show this morning. If you haven't shared the show, well, why not? TC's done it by posting that post himself on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Also, oh, wait, what is this? Bad guess. Oh, bad guess, cultist. Someone's replying to one of my tweets. Oh, yeah, here's another one right here. Here's another one. So this is one of those no one is above the law. We'll talk about it in a minute because that's trending today. No one is above the law except Trump. Number of felonies per world leader, 34 for Donald Trump. They're all in that one case, right? That's the other thing. The reason they use 34, right? The reason they use 34 is because that was by design by the people who brought the charges. They wanted to say that in one case, they make it sound like he's been charged with felonies 34 times and lost the cases. No, it's all one case, morons. One single case. And the fucking gymnastics they had to do to get these to be felonies made the judges in the appellate court threaten sanctions against the prosecutors. And I guarantee you, do you think this $500 million dump case, whatever that they just dumped, is going to make the liberals mad? Wait till they drop the 34 felonies from one case. They're going to lose their fucking minds because they'll no longer be able to call him they can call him a convicted felon, but when you have an appeal where the felonies are overturned, it's as if you were never convicted. And I guarantee that case is going to be overthrown on appeal, no questions asked. The way the appellate court, if you saw any of the arguments during the appeal, you're going to be like, at the end of that appeal in the first level appellate court in New York, the prosecution lawyers were begging not to be sanctioned. That's not a good sign for them. So anyway, I just said I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to guess you can't explain what the charges were and how they became felonies, nor will you be able to understand why they will be overturned on an appeal and make it the entire prosecution team sanction. To someone says, bad guess, cultist. I'm going to say, why? Did you have to look it up? Okay. Anyway, I don't know why I reply to people on X during the show, but it's fun sometimes. Let's get into wait, before I get into John. Okay, I only got a few minutes. The big news yesterday, by the way, Alligator Alcatraz is trending because apparently it's not the only detention facility that they've been building for people who've crossed our border illegally or criminal illegal aliens that they're using as a deportation point. There's several others being held, but in the lawfare annals of American history, an Obama judge named Kathleen Williams bans the Trump administration from bringing any more criminal illegal aliens to Alligator Alcatraz and orders they start to tear down the facility. This is a ludicrous, outrageous ruling. It must be overturned immediately. Apparently, this judge, no later than 60 days from the date of this order, once the population attrition allows for safe implementation of this order, the defendant shall remove the temporary fencing installed by defendant to allow tribe members access to the site consistent with the access they enjoyed before the erection of the detention camp. Remember, this is an airfield. They did it on an airfield that was a little used. I don't know that the way they did it, the people who sued were saying, well, the tribe there that is around that area no longer has access to this airfield. What? Anyway, that they enjoyed before the erection of the detention camp, the Sunbelt lighting fixtures, and any additional lighting installed for the use of the property as a detention facility, and all generators, gas, sewage, and other waste and waste receptacles that were installed to support this project. She's telling them they have to tear it down. I'm going to guess this is not going to, it's not going to survive an appeal, and there'll be an injunction until they can go through the appeals process. But anyway, so this judge decided that she's going to stop alligator Alcatraz. All right, that's where that's trending. All right, real quick, the big news before I get into Friday Q&A from yesterday, though, is, we were talking about John Bolton the other day. Well, John Bolton's house has been raided by the FBI. Holy shit. Let's see. He's trending because of this. Knock, knock. John Bolton. Who's there? Feds. War with Iran. John Bolton. Huh? Smiling. Feds. Just kidding. John Bolton. Fuck. So anyway, the FBI has raided
still being able to access
John Bolton's home. Oh, hang on.
Some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton...
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
Now, by the way, at the end of the Trump administration, there was a investigation into John Bolton. Apparently, he might have some classified documents he's not supposed to have, but it got dropped during the Biden administration. So they resumed it, and now they're raiding John Bolton's home.
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances.
Okay, that's not the one I meant to play, so we'll just stop that for now. Anyway, here's the deal. Come on, computer. Fuck me. I have this problem every once in a while. You know, my tech is not the greatest. I need to upgrade, but I can't afford it. Okay, why is this not working? There, come on. Come on. Why is this one page not working? Son of a bitch. Anyway, the point is, John Bolton's house has been raided by the FBI. He's not under arrest, but... it may be a little concerning for John Bolton. Anyway, that's simple. It'll be in the links. But the couple things trending because of this. One, no one is above the law. Breaking, the FBI has just raided John Bolton's D.C. area home in a high-profile national security probe. Here's it is. Agents busted down Bolton's door around 7 a.m. this morning in an investigation ordered by Cash Patel. Patel posted, no one is above the law. Agents on mission. Because remember how they did it with, what was it, Roger Stone? Remember they had all the cameras there and CNN just happened to be monitoring Roger Stone's house when the FBI raided it. Like, yeah, that wasn't planned. Well, anyway, same thing's happened to John Bolton now. And, if he has classified documents, he is far less authorized to have classified documents than Donald Trump was. So no one is above the law. Now, it's funny, though, also trending was CNN is trending. Remember when CNN and John Bolton whine about how Donald Trump is using his viral mugshot? I thought the mugshot was carefully staged. You could have smiled. You could have looked benign. Instead, looks like a thug. Was CNN trending? But anyway, no one above the law, John Bolton. But some people are saying no one's above the law except Trump. And that's what I was talking about before. A lot of people, well, no one's above the law except Trump. Number of felonies, the world leader. Seems like Trump has gone through the legal process, right? What do you mean no one's above the law except Trump? He's going through the legal process right now. They arrested him. They've done investigations. There have been trials. What do you mean he's above the law? They've gone through it. They've had court cases. What do you mean he's above the law? Now it's John Bolton's turn to go through the same process that Donald Trump went through, or Roger Stone, or Steve Bannon, or anyone else that's been in the Trump orbit. It's time. It's their turn. If they broke the law, then, that they go through the process. Otherwise, they would be above the law. Like James Comey, for example. Let's talk about James Comey, because he's going through a little process right now, too. Where is it? Classified. Exclusive. Prosecutors secured evidence James Comey authorized classified leaks but denied charges. He may be going through the process, too, because now they've got evidence that he was the one who had people leaking classified information during the Trump administration, during his investigation. So he may be in trouble too. FBI leak investigation. Tropic Vortex was a criminal referral. Allegations is that the disclosure of classified information to reporters was authorized by James Comey as FBI director. Comey would know whether his actions violated 18 U.S.C. 1924, which criminalizes mishandling of classified documents. Note, intelligence is born classified and is determined by the originating agency. Don't fall for the argument the records were not marked classified at the time. Markings don't determine the classification. The content of the record does. So anyway, he's the one who was authorizing leaked classified information. He may be going through this process soon too. And then people are talking about Roger Stone and Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with those. But unfortunately, I have to suspend with the news. Why? Why do I have to suspend with the news? Because it's time. It's that time for ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the weekly feature that you've all been waiting for, Friday Q&A. Thank you, everybody, for dropping questions. Some more people are doing this. It's Friday Q&A, people. We do this every Friday. We give you an open forum to ask me questions, either personal, not personal, funny, stupid, bizarre, and all of the above. And so that's what we're doing right now. Before that, I do that, though. Good morning, Ercole Di Stefano. What's up? Nice to have you here. You think they should drag Obama through the legal ringer like they did Trump? Do I think they should if they have evidence he did something illegal? And who knows? Personally, I wish they would just do his entire orbit of people who actually did illegal things and leave Obama untouched, just to make him think about it a little bit, and also to make the American people know what a shitbag he was as far as that kind of stuff's covered. But look, not everything Obama did was wrong. Just like any president, look, I'm going to wave my little flag in this country, no matter who's president. And not everything they all do is wrong, and not everything they do is right. But it's funny because, unfortunately, especially with this president, boy, oh boy, they can never give him credit for anything. But people in other countries do. All those monks in, was it Cambodia or what? Was it Cambodia? Where are the monks that were all with the Trump signs? Thank you for stopping our war. There are people who liked what Trump does, and you can't even acknowledge that. Oh, they're cultists. Yeah, those Buddhist monks in Cambodia or wherever the hell they were. They're Trump cultists, I'm sure. Anyway, let's move on. It is Friday Q&A, the best time of the week. And let's start with the first question from Mr. Avocados Diabli, who, if you were here, I would punch you in the throat right now. He says, the first question of the day, have you unseen the Adam Schiff thumbnail from last week yet?
Your life makes me sad.
Why? Why? I hadn't even thought about it until now. Ladies and gentlemen, next, Avocados Diabli asks, have you ever considered faking your own death? If you do, I met your doppelganger the other day, and other than he was clean shaven, even Lady Boomer would think he was you. I have about 7 doppelgangers in the world, I've learned. But faking my own death. I think everybody considers that at one point in their life or another, just for the hell of it. But yeah, not lately. Avocados Diabli asks, can a drunk person in a wheelchair get a DUI for wheeling down the sidewalk? I know you can get a DUI on a bicycle, and I'm not going to tell you why, but on a wheelchair, I don't know. Probably not. I don't think you can get a DUI for a wheelchair. Definitely for a bicycle, particularly if you're riding on a street, like a legal street. And again, I didn't. Oh, yes, if it's a motorized scooter. Oh, yeah, definitely that. Only if the wheelchair is motorized. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the knowledge in the chat. That helps me a lot. And no, I did not get a DUI on a bicycle, but I know somebody who did, and I'm not going to say who because I promised never to tell anybody. And they didn't. And then the charges were dropped too. It was during a bicycle tour where we drank a lot. Let's see. Avocado Diablo asks, will you support the cuttlefish when they rise up from the briny depths and take over the planet? No. Avocado Diablo asks, do you want to see me? Wait, do you want to see me? Not like that. No. Do you want to see one of the craziest women alive? Watch this when you have time. 15 minutes when you have 15 free minutes in your day. All right, here's what we're going to do. He posted a link, which I will put over here in the links today. Also, by the way, I'm going to light them on. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Wait a minute. Do you want to? She said the match. Hang on.
This Karen tried calling.
Hang on. He said, do you want to see one of the craziest women alive? And when I clicked on it, this is the first image in the video he sent. Right here. I'm going to light them on fire. Okay, I'm going to put aside 15 minutes to watch that. I'm definitely going to do that. Also, by the way, who sent me this? This was Desperate British Grandfather Appeals to Donald Trump. So there's a couple of videos in the links today. Was it Simple Minds? Somebody sent me that. So there's a couple of videos in the links today that you'll want to watch on your own, and definitely you want to watch this one too. I saw this morning. All right, back to the questions, Q&A. Ms. Wild Wolf says, Red Friday is every Friday. We have been showing our support for over a year already. Yes, excellent. Red Friday, which is Remember Everyone Deployed. And I always forget to wear red, but I always talk about it. So it's always a good idea to remember, especially, people who have family members deployed, show them your support. Avocado Diablo asks, do you think anyone has ever used their cell phone's video camera and some twins to give themselves a colonoscopy? Wait. Twine. Excuse me. Let me reread that. The question is, do you think anyone has ever used their cell phone video camera and some twine to give themselves a colonoscopy? I'm sure that somebody has tried it. Ew. Avocado Diablo asks, speaking of tooth fairies, what? Oh, the Tooth Fairy Day thing. I was like, what do you mean, speaking of tooth fairies? I thought, well, when that question comes after a cell phone video camera and self-colonoscopy, and then you say tooth fairies, I had a whole different image of what that was going to be about. Speaking of tooth fairies, what is the going price for a tooth nowadays adjusted for inflation? I don't think it's ever been more than $1. I think it was $0.25 when I was a kid, but I think it's pretty much $1 and that's it. And although I'm sure there's parents out there who drop a 5 spot or something, but I'm guessing $1 is the go. Anyone? Hey, somebody has young kids or grandkids. What's the going rate for a tooth nowadays adjusted for inflation? $3,000. What are you talking about? Oh, Mr. Jack's in the house. What up, Mr. Jack? Welcome. All right, let's see. Avocado Diablo asks, how many gerbils would it take to make a gallon of gerbil milk? Again, related to the self-colonoscopy and tooth fairies, Avocado Diablo's on a roll. How many gerbils? Well, it depends. Depends on how much time they've spent up Richard Gere's ass, but I'm going to say at least, Tyre Alexander has the answer. It's Tree Fitty. Perfect. Avocados Diablo on a roll asks, and I don't mean like someone cooked him and put him on a baguette. If kitchen appliances could talk, which one do you think would be the biggest dick? do you know what, if you know what, like those things that you conceal something and then the bag sucks it up, so they're suck bagged things, you know? I don't even know what the hell they're called. They have the bags, you put them in there, and then you pull it out and you put whatever it is in there, and you seal both ends of it, and then the bag automatically sucks all the air out. Whatever those are called. And then your refrigerator would just fuck with you especially if you're fat. So either one. All right. Lord Stanhope asks, if you could milk a pig and drink it, what would you imagine pig milk would taste like? Well, probably like the milk of any other mammal, because pigs are mammals. And you know, you could milk a pig. I don't know. Yeah, vacuum sealer. Thank you, Avocado Diablo, whatever the fuck those are called. A vacuum sealer. Yes, the vacuum sealer would be a dick, but definitely the fridge, especially if you, every time you open. Look, they should make refrigerators that talk to you, and I think they do. And it would be fun. Because, you know, you have all these digital shit, everything's digital now. You can make a refrigerator that talks shit to you every time you open it. That would be fucking hilarious. You could program it for your spouse or your kids every time they open the fridge. Hey, what the fuck are you doing in here again? Shut the fucking door. Hey, don't you think you've had enough? I mean, you're getting kind of pudgy there. That would be hilarious. I'm sure there's someone who's already done that. Let's see. Avocado Diablo asks, being a sports ball fan, have you gotten your Noah nigga merchandise yet? Okay, here, for those of you who are not aware, there is a oh, where is it? Oh, there's a dude. Oh, here we go. Search instead for, is it Knowa? Oh, Noah, Noah. I spelled it wrong. Jesus Christ. There's a young man. His name is actually Noah Nigga. Okay, I can't find it. I was trying to find a picture. Here, let me see. Here's what we'll do. We'll do it. We'll find it next. Where's the? Here we go. Search. OAHKIKNIGGI. There we go. This young man, I think he plays football for Marshall University. And his last name is Nigga. Now, that looks like an AI rendition of his name, but yeah, his here it is. Noah Nigga, Marshall University. So there you go. Just saying. You know, and you know what? I'll tell you what, you know, all these college football players and sports kids have these NIL deals, name, image, and likeness. You know this motherfucker's making a killing because everyone's buying that jersey. KNIGGA. Noah Nigga. I went to a Noah Nigga basketball game. Yeah, he also plays basketball too. Yeah.
I went to watch the greatest white basketball player.
Number 10, Noah Kaniga.
Hey, you can't say that, bro. No, Noah.
Noah Kaniga.
Man, it's Kaniga. What's next, bro? Jada Coon, bro? Actually,
Huh?
Oh, no, that's crazy. Hey, what?
Kaniga scored.
Man, I'm
I'm going to leave that there. Okay, moving on. I'm running out of time. I'm already out of time. Holy shit. I got a lot of questions to get through. Okay, the whole rest of the time is going to be a lightning round because I'm out of time. Lord Stanhope asks, if you walked into a room and caught a mountain gorilla pleasuring himself, what would you do if you slowly turned to you, made eye contact, and resumed, started with a smile? I think you meant he, or if you walked in a room and caught a mountain gorilla pleasuring himself, what would you do if he slowly turned to you and made eye contact and resumed while starting to smile? I I would run and shut the fucking door. And don't be smiling at me while you're doing that shit. Avocado Stiali asks, how long would it take 100 narwhals to carve a perfect replica of Mount Rushmore on the underside of a giant iceberg? Narwhals? I bet they could do it in about 14 days. So that's my guess. Laura Stanov asks, would you prefer waking up next to the silverback gorilla or wake up next to veteran war hero and icon Admiral Akbar, aka Let Us Know James? I'm going to let you know later. Catch that? Let us know. I'm going to let you know. I'm not even sure I understand the question. Admiral Akbar, like in Star Wars, that dude? At least I'd be able to speak with Admiral Akbar, but I don't want to wake up next to either of them. Ms. Wild Wolf asks, what's your favorite game system and why? You know, since my son is no longer living with us, because we had both Xbox and PlayStation, I actually preferred the Xbox, but I know a lot of people prefer just plain old computer gaming, like Monkey's in the chat. Monkey prefers just using the computer. But my son's been out of the house since 20. Son's been out of the house since basically 2015. And I haven't had a game system in the house other than like an Xbox 3. And I don't even know where the hell that is. It's somewhere way away because nobody uses it. So I'll stick with the Xbox. Marty is still amazed by ColecoVision. Hey, look, my first gaming system was literally Atari Pong. I had an original Atari Pong, and when my mother passed away, I know I left it in my house. It was in the basement somewhere, and I wish I could have found it, but it was no longer there, which means my mother probably threw it out sometime after I left the house. But if I could find that right now, I'd be so happy because it's hard to find one that works. All right, I'm taking way too long here. Laura Stanov asks, if you began to drown in soda, which brand, existing or defunct, would you prefer to drown in? Fresca. Love me some Fresca. If I'm going to drown drinking some Fresca. Laura Stanov asks, since Trump had to put up a bond for his case and the case was dismissed, how much money will Trump make on the interest off that bond? It'll be a pretty good penny. I mean, that's going to piss Latinia off big time. Avocados Diabli asks, have you ever played chicken shit bingo? I have not, because I have no idea what that is. Laura Stanov asks, why do libs always come off as always trying to overcompensate for deep personal flaws that they should be addressing instead? Because they lack self-reflection sometimes. So they just, they project constantly. Darren Root asks, sleep, marry, kill, Pamela Anderson, Dolly Parton, Tyra Banks. Whew. Sleep Tyra Banks, marry Dolly Parton, kill Pamela Anderson. Although I have a lot more respect for Pamela Anderson now that she's gone kind of natural as far as the makeup and shit. But she's been rode hard and put away wet. So no. Selected Boy asks, what Major League sport would you want to be the commissioner of? Oh, wow. You know, I think the NFL, because some of the rule changes they're doing now are so fucking stupid that I would want to take over and just say, hey, I get it. You don't want guys to get hit, but we like it when people get hit. Laura Stanov asks, serious? Which price point should be ridiculous for a fifth, a spirit, 1 liter, and a handle? What price point should be ridiculous for a fifth, a liter, and a handle? What, no 750 though? You skip the 750. There's another one. I have no idea. It depends on what it is. How do I answer that question when I don't know what it is? Is it a fifth of, Boodle's gin? Or is it some rot gut rail vodka from TGI Fridays? That's the unanswerable question. Avocado Diablo asks, if you hypnotize someone so every time they hear running water, they punch themselves in the face, are you guilty of battery? Well, I don't know. Maybe if you're really good at hypnotizing people, yeah, they could probably sue you. I don't know if you'd be guilty, but because they're punching themselves, what are you going to do? Lord Sandom asks, would you rather be the smartest idiot or the stupidest genius? Look, the smartest idiot would probably live longer. You know what I'm saying? The stupidest genius, they're going to die. I guarantee it, because they're just going to die. The smartest idiot probably live till 100. Select Boy asks, so who is stupider between Cenk Uygur and Homer Simpson? Look, let me just say this. Cenk's not stupid. Cenk's just an asshole, but he's not stupid. He's a demagogue, but he's not stupid. He's a blowhard, but he's not stupid. So at least Homer's likable. Yes, that is true too. Perfect. Good point. Lars Stanhope asks, would you prefer being 6'5" with a normal Johnson or 3'4" with a dingle dangle that dragged on the ground? I like being 6'4" with a normal Johnson, so I'm sticking to it. Nobody wants a dingle dangle that drags on the ground. Do you know how many blisters and scrapes and road rash you get from that? That would suck. Holy shit. Lord Stanhope asks, going with the new trend, if Brooklyn gets a WNBA team, should they be called the dildos, the vibrators, or the pocket rockets? Yeah, none of the above. Let's see, Brooklyn. What's Spanish for rug? Avocado Diablo asks, would you rather be pepper sprayed in the face or in your junk? And yes, you're naked. Yeah, I'll take the burning of the eyes. I don't need to feel like I got a VD or something. Avocado Diablo is putting one of those WD-40 straws that you use to get into small spaces on a can of pepper spray and giving someone a pepper spray enema cruel and unusual punishment, or is it just hilarious? I think I just answered you. That's fucked up. Holy shit. Could you imagine doing that prank to a friend who's sleeping? That'd be terrible. Holy shit. Where do you come up with this shit? Avocado Diablo asks, if you could pee on one historical monument without punishment, which would you choose? Look, probably Stone Mountain, Georgia. I'm sorry, but we have a giant monument to the Confederacy. Fuck that. I mean, you can respect the bravery and whatever the Confederate generals, but having a fucking giant monument to that fuck that shit. That would be it. Or anything with St. Floyd. Yeah, I got you. Avocado Diablo, is this the 42nd to last question? Well, it sure seems like it, but I can see the bottom of the list now. It's like the boy, chicken eggs or ostrich eggs. Chicken eggs are much more manageable. Lord Stanhope, is there any politician or celeb who passed that you wish were still alive so they could die again? Oh my God. Oh fuck, that's harsh. Holy shit. I don't want people to die because, look, politician or celebrity who passed that you wish were still alive so they could die again. Let's give the politically correct answer. Hitler. There you go. Lord Stanham asks, who deserves to be above the law more, Steven Seagal or Judge Dredd? Wow, that's look. Steven Seagal is above the law. So, sorry, Judge Dredd, but Steven Seagal. Let's like the boy. What's the best kind of wings? Angel wings. That was so stupid. Lord Stanhope, I made a gin old fashioned with hibiscus syrup, lemon juice, and blood orange bitters. Does this cause offense? No, you have every right to be disgusting and stupid that you want. So there you go. I'm just, if you want to be that, that's you be you. Lord Stanhope asks, sorry, I don't mean that. Lord Stanhope, I love you. Also asks, will you have too good of a weekend? My weekend's going to be mundane. I'm going to be working on stuff around the house. We got to get caught up before the Labor Day weekend. Avocado Stay says, if there were a magical turtle that could grant 3 wishes, but for every wish you had to be punched in the balls full strength by Mike Tyson, would you make all 3 wishes? You cannot wish not to be hit. No, but I could wish Mike Tyson to become a giant human cotton ball. On the first one. Selected Boy asks, how many of these protesters heard of a soap and rag? Yeah, about half. Miss Wildwolf asks, when we meet up, you, me, your wife, my hubby, where would you want to go? Where should we go? You know what? There's some there's a lot of these burger joints around town that say they're the best burger in town. There's a couple of them. We'll talk about that. We'll do that sometime. Avocado Diablo asks, what is the least appropriate occasion to bring a Jello mold to? The least appropriate occasion to bring a Jello mold to. Ooh, I don't know. Wait, someone said abortions? Definitely abortions. Okay. I'm going to go with that answer. That's a good one. Avocado Diablo asks, because I think you skipped it, how long would it take 100 narwhals to carve an exact replica of Mount Rushmore on the underside of a giant iceberg? I said 14 days. Pay attention, goddammit. Avocado Diablo asks, oops, you did not skip that LOL. Oh. In the immortal words of Emily Latella, never mind. Avocado Diablo, did you know? Yes. Selected Boy asks, if a woman was with a bear, how long would she last? It depends on how sexy the bear was. Ew. Lord Stanhope, is this it? This is not. Make no mistake where you are. Hello, Resolute Germ. What's up? Mr. Cosby's funeral. Oh, shit. Oh, no. The worst place to bring a Jello mold would be Mr. Cosby's funeral. Let's see. Oh, my God. I'm running out of time. Ms. Wildwolf. Wait, how do you make holy water? Oh, this is... Excuse me. She gave me the question and the answer. How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it. I told that joke somewhere. Was that on my joke channel? Or maybe I just told that to my wife. Anyway. Avocado Diablo asks, non se sai et still si? No. Ms. Wildwood asks, how do you know you are not in a virtual reality? I pinch myself. I see over in the other chat over here, how do you make a hormone? Pear. All right, and the last question, ladies and gentlemen, on today's Friday Q&A. Actually, it's a two-parter coming from Avocados Diabli, so actually it's the last two questions, even though it's, I'm calling it the last one. It's the only last one I'm going to read, no matter what you put on the screen. Avocados Diabli asked, well, is it? Are you sure? Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we end our Friday on the Morning Night Live, which means we end the week on the Morning Night Live. And that's it. So look, in the links today, there are two videos that I want to bring your attention to. One is from Simple Minds, a desperate British grandfather appeals to Donald Trump. Interesting video. And then who sent me the crazy lady? Yeah, someone sent me this crazy lady. I highly encourage you to check them both out. And also the link about Noah nigga. I'm sorry, Noah Kaniga. But the announcer said Noah nigga. Because, and I don't think there's any wrong pronunciation of that. It's just Noah nigga. So if you want to know a nigga, make sure you check out the links today, which I'm about to drop into the chat. As soon as this thing processes so that I can do that, come on! There we go. And good Lord, that is it on this week's Morning Night Live. Highly encourage you to join us again next week. Oh, what happened to my chat? What the hell? Oh, I closed both of them. That was dumb. All right, here, as soon as this pops up again, finally, here are today's links. Highly encourage you to check out those two videos and a bunch of other stuff that's in the links that I didn't get to. So there you go. Thank you. See you next week. Hope you all have a great weekend. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.